Sup guys, back with another video here. Today we're going to be opening some more minifigure packs. Well, I actually already opened them, I couldn't wait. But instead of doing like the Spider-Man ones like we did last time, we're going to do the Marvel Studio ones from here. So actually I've bricklinked this one, the Moon Knight, because he was my favorite. I got him like, I think right around when the series came out. He was the only one I got, just because how much I loved the Moon Knight show. It was amazing. I'm hoping that we eventually get a season 2 of that. But he's just so detailed, and he's definitely like one of my favorite Marvel CMFs, like Marvel minifigure altogether. This insane arm printing, side leg printing, and obviously the dual molded legs with the very detailed leg and toe printing, along with the very screen accurate torso prints. It's not too cluttered, which I was kind of worried about because, you know, obviously with mummies, it can very easily become overwhelmed. And I'm glad they sort of took a route that's similar to this, where it's not like just, it's like, I guess it's very different actually, because this one has a few defined lines, which looks good because Lego's a toy and it's not very realistic. With this, however, they took the other route, which is to make many faint lines, right? They're not as dark, so they don't stand out too much. They don't overwhelm too much, which I like. And yeah, definitely top 3 Marvel minifigures. Probably number 1, honestly, just off of like pure detail and stuff. And I mean, come on, it's Moon Knight. Alright, so we know this one is definitely the best. I think I went on Walmart or something. Don't ever do this, by the way. This is like basically a scam. These sellers, I'm pretty sure, put like the least valuable minifigures and write random, when in reality it's just like the 3 or 4 of the least like valuable minifigures from that series. So in this one, unfortunately, it's probably gonna be Echo. And the X-Men are extremely popular, I know that. And Giant Man, I'm pretty sure, is very popular. Kate Bishop is really good. I'm thinking like Echo, Hawkeye, Werewolf by Night, and maybe Mr. Knight. And you know what? Turns out my prediction was basically true. I mean, 3 of the that unboxed were these like the least valuable, whether you go on Bricklink or Brick Economy. And yeah, the least desirable ones for sure. With that being said, these figures are still very like detailed. First, let's start with this Echo one. So I did give her like an extra gun as an accessory, so she actually only came like this, which is, I mean, I guess cool, it's alright. But I definitely wish to see her weapon, which is the gun that she has in the show. With that being said, let's take a closer look at the minifigure itself. Now with this minifigure, it has extremely cool leg piece. That's the first thing that definitely stands out. It's like dual molded, but not only that, it has a very unique shape. It's obviously the prosthetic that she has in the show, and you can sort of let me push it to the side maybe a little. You can sort of see like the wedge shape it has, and on this it even has like printing. You can see in the front the gold part, and it has side leg printing this side too, which is really nice, extremely high quality. Dual molded arms with printing as well. Sort of like Moon Knight. Like, these two have some of the best arm printings I've seen. Although this is like so much like a cooler character in like film and media. One thing I was definitely surprised is definitely this hairpiece. I believe it's a unique mold. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the most interesting part is how they printed like those hairbands, I believe, or whatever that is. I haven't watched the show, and I heard it wasn't too good. Actually, no, I did watch one episode, but it was not it. And apparently the first episode is the best one, so yeah. Anyways, with that being said, this piece is actually quite interesting. Like, they can print so much detail on like these very intricate bum pieces, which I found quite peculiar, because they claim that they aren't able to print on like stuff like the hair pieces for some other characters like Mr. Fantastic, I believe they said at one point, but they can do this. Like, it's clearly a budget issue, not really like a technical issue. Although that was a while back, so maybe like they fixed that by now. Anyways, this is definitely, like, detail-wise, one of the top minifigures in the series, but character-wise, it's definitely towards the bottom. So, good quality, bad, like, the representation of the character itself is not that good. Next, let's move on to Mr. Knight. For Mr. Knight, I actually don't have anything to say. It's a very simple figure, yes. Like, the print isn't like very detailed. It's probably something you can find just on like a normal like Lego City set. The suit itself looks very nice, very clean, very accurate to the film. I extremely like the little detail on the leg. Just adds an extra layer of detail that's to be expected on the CMF. Although I'm extremely disappointed by the fact that it has no arm printing. They could have definitely put some like buttons at the edge here for his suit, right? And honestly, aside from that, I think this figure is pretty much perfect considering how simple he looks in the show. He does also come with this as his like accessory, I guess, which is the fish. That's pretty cool. It does sort of make up for the lack of printing on the figure itself, and it's definitely a very cool accessory. And actually, I think I bricklinked the second one of these. No, I did. And I used the white suit to build a kingpin for my Lego Daily Bugle, the modular. And it works pretty well. You just swap out the hands, you put the suit on, you give him like the default clone face, or you can use the Lex Luthor one. Both works really good. And you have like a decent minifig scaled kingpin. And that's what I have in my Daily Bugle right now. So that does have some application outside of Marvel, which I find to be interesting. With that, now let's move on to our last minifig, and probably the one I know the least about. I didn't even know he had a show until I got this minifigure and did some research on it. I heard the show wasn't like too bad, but it also wasn't like blow your socks off. It definitely wasn't Moon Knight level, but it also wasn't as bad as the Echo show. So maybe I'll give it a watch. Apparently it's in black and white. Although the figure doesn't reflect that, I still think this is a pretty detailed figure. It has dual molded legs, pretty much like everyone here except for Mr. Knight. It has very great arm printing. You can see the fur and all the detail on that. Good torso print. Looks very wild. Does have an alternate expression. One's angry, one happy. Cool like hair piece. I don't know if this has been used anywhere else, but I can definitely see some applications of it in fantasy themes. Maybe like a I don't know, what do you call it? Like one of those like you know, the people with the hoofs on their hoops for legs. I think it's like the one from Narnia. I don't know. Dude, my brain is not working right now. Anyhow, the figure does come with one of these things. I don't understand the significance of it, and I honestly didn't do any research, but it is a very detailed printed piece, which is nice. Although I do wish for some extra accessories. I feel like it's pretty much lacking. It only has one unique mold, which is a hairpiece that isn't like, wow, it's like you know, it counts for all the budget. It definitely should have more stuff included. And I'm very disappointed that I didn't. With that being said, these are all the figures that I currently have from this CMF wave. Maybe I'll go back and eventually get all of these, but I probably won't buy more of these blind boxes. I think these quote-unquote random blind boxes is only gonna include these three, and maybe like Hawkeye. Even then, he has an LP, so that's probably even more desirable. And there's no chance of seeing any of the X-Men, considering how popular they are. She-Hulk, very detailed, probably not gonna be in this either. Moon Knight, definitely not. Agatha maybe. And Giant Man maybe. But not Giant Man, whatever his name is. I forgot. But yeah, I don't think I'll be buying more of the blind boxes. And you shouldn't either, unless you want these 4. In any case, even then, you should be buying them on Bricklink. They're like 5 times as cheap. I pay like 13 for each of these. Yeah. And I forgot to record them. The opening process. I got swindled, bro. Don't be like me. All right, bye guys.